The billionaire hedge fund boss Ray Dalio sees an inflationary future where cash is trash and BTC catches on as a store of wealth. He still doubts governments will tolerate it. Bitcoin's reputation as digital gold has grown this year before Elon Musk's quit decision, with a number of high-profile investors naming it as an emerging inflation hedge. Now, after Wall Street legend Bill Miller said he strongly recommends Bitcoin, billionaire US investor Stanley Druckenmiller has revealed he now owns some Bitcoin, saying he's warmed up to the cryptocurrency as a store of value. The video is going to be mind-blowing, so make sure you stick till the end and hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. A year on since the Hedge Fund Journal first interviewed Nickel Digital Asset Management in early 2020, the manager's prediction for an increasingly institutionalized cryptocurrency market is materializing as various regulatory developments in the US and elsewhere lend additional legitimacy and credibility to the asset class. Growing adoption by institutional investors and some corporate treasurers, as well as use in e-commerce and decentralized finance, could all add to demand for Bitcoin, which has finite supply in contrast to fiat currencies, where the potentially inflationary macroeconomic climate continues to be supportive of inflation hedges. Concerns about a looming global debt crisis have taken the world's top hedge fund manager from doubting Bitcoin BTC to dabbling in it. Bridgewater Associates founder Ray Dalio said the US dollar is on the verge of devaluation on a level last seen in 1971, and that China is threatening the greenback's role as the world's reserve currency. In such an environment, Bitcoin, with its gold-like properties, looks increasingly attractive as a savings vehicle, said Dalio, whose firm started 2021 with $101.9 billion in assets under management, making it the world's largest hedge fund. Personally, I'd rather have Bitcoin than a bond. In an inflationary scenario, Dalio said during an hour-long conversation with CoinDesk Chief Content Officer Michael J. Casey. Druckenmiller, who shut down his $12 billion hedge fund, Duquesne Capital Management in 2010 and now manages his money through a family office, said that inflation is likely to rise over the next 5 or 6 years due to the Federal Reserve's massive stimulative measures put in place to offset the economic damage brought by the pandemic. Druckenmiller, after made headlines for his bearish views on the US dollar, said he expects his Bitcoin bet to work better than gold, though he holds a gold position that is many more times larger than his current Bitcoin holding. Bitcoin could be an asset class that has a lot of attraction as a store of value to both millennials and the new West Coast money, and as you know, they got a lot of it. Druckenmiller, who, along with George Soros, famously bet against the British pound in 1992 and made massive profits, told CNBC, "It's been around for 13 years, and with each passing day, it picks up more of its stabilization as a brand." The gold price is currently just under its all-time high of around $2,000 an ounce set earlier this year, adding around 30% over the last 12 months and benefiting from many of the same trends that have lifted Bitcoin through worries about the coronavirus pandemic, lower for longer interest rates, and inflation fears. Frankly, if the gold bet works, the Bitcoin bet will probably work better because it's thinner, more illiquid, and has a lot more beta to it, said Druckenmiller, reversing comments he made in 2018 when said he didn't want to own Bitcoin. Dalio joins fellow billionaire Stanley Druckenmiller in not only expressing pessimism about the dollar, but taking a position in Bitcoin. Broadly, the traditional finance world has gone from ignoring or shunning to tentatively embracing cryptocurrencies, some looking to profit from their day-to-day volatility, others seeking a haven from inflation as governments swelled money supplies during the coronavirus pandemic. "I have some Bitcoin," Dalio volunteered in the middle of the interview, recorded on May the 6th and to be broadcast Monday during Consensus by CoinDesk 2021. Skybridge, a fund of hedge funds, announced it had started the Skybridge Bitcoin Fund with $310 million in assets under management invested from its $3 billion flagship fund. Skybridge's crypto move comes amid a rally in the price of Bitcoin and other digital currencies. Imagine every model portfolio where gold has become an accepted asset class. Every model portfolio has a 1% exposure to Bitcoin, and you can see the magnitude of where Bitcoin could be, Skybridge founder and managing partner Scaramucci told Reuters. Earlier this year, Skybridge investors asked for $1.7 billion back after its main fund suffered a 23% loss in March when investments made by its debt-focused hedge fund managers soured. Scaramucci told Reuters the fund had since recovered some of its losses and was down 7.5% through the year, and it raised another $300 million. Alongside a raft of high-profile investors turning to Bitcoin this year, the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency community has also been celebrating a number of other significant developments. Payments giant PayPal said it plans to allow its 346 million users to buy and spend Bitcoin along with a handful of other major cryptocurrencies, while payments company Square, led by the Twitter chief executive and outspoken Bitcoin advocate Jack Dorsey, said it has added $50 million worth of Bitcoin to its corporate accounts. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency (OCC) has in September 2020 allowed commercial banks to custody digital assets, says Nickle's founding partner and CEO Anatoly Krachalov. Conceptually, this is not entirely a new departure since banks already custody and escrow encryption keys, but it confirms the constructive direction in which the US regulatory framework is traveling. After expressing skepticism about the cryptocurrency, Dalio began to show a change of his heart this year. There exists the possibility that Bitcoin and its competitors can fill that growing need for an alternative store of value, he wrote in January. Dalio's off-the-cuff remark to CoinDesk about owning some BTC represents the closest thing to an endorsement from him to date. Nonetheless, in the same conversation, he reiterated his concern that governments, fearing competition from Bitcoin to state monetary systems, could crack down on its owners. Bitcoin's greatest risk is its success, Dalio cautioned. After posting strong gains, investors are actively increasing exposure to hedge funds, including cryptocurrency strategies, said Kenneth Hines, president of HFR. Billionaire investor Mark Cuban is bullish on the future of cryptocurrency and frequently compares blockchain technology to the early days of the internet. That's why, over the years, Cuban held on to the few digital coins he bought in the early days, Cuban said on an episode of The Delphi podcast. Currently, his portfolio allocation is broken down as 60% Bitcoin, 30% Ethereum, and 10% the rest. Bitcoin, created in 2009, is the largest cryptocurrency by market value, but is appealing to Cuban as a store of value rather than a currency. In 2012, people said Bitcoin is a currency, and I'm like, it's just not going to work. But the entire time, I said it was a store of value where, if you could get people to believe that it was a better alternative than gold because of its algorithmic scarcity, the price is going to go up, he said. According to Cuban, Bitcoin is a better alternative to gold and it's going to continue, he said. That's why I own Bitcoin and why I never sold it. According to Dalio, one currency, the dollar, possibly on the wane, while another, the renminbi, is possibly ascendant. There's the chance a neutral cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin could act as gold did in previous centuries. One of the great things, I think, as a worry is a government having the capacity to control almost any of them, including Bitcoin or the digital currencies. Dalio said, they know where they are and they know what's going on. One indicator, Dalio said, is the relative value of Bitcoin versus gold. Excluding government reserves and jewelry uses, the value of gold is roughly $5 trillion, he estimated, about 5 times that of Bitcoin. There's one scenario where rising debt can be overcome, and that's through productivity. And while that's harder to measure than before, it will hinge on technology, he said. The world is going to change at an incredibly fast pace, Dalio said. Whoever wins the technology race wins it all, economically and militarily. That's what the next 5 years look like. What's your opinion about hedge fund billionaires? Let us know your opinion in the comment section below. This was all for today. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the bell icon for more updates and notifications. Stay safe, and we'll be back soon with another video.